And welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today is Olga Lisovska. She is the co-founder of Sky Philanthropy and co-producer of Boston Ukraine Festival. Also joining me is James Montgomery, international renowned blues musician, and Aleksandre Zazarashvili, the Ukrainian Kids Voice winner. I welcome you all to Living in the 21st Century. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Errol.
Thank you. I hope I pronounced your name right, Aleksandre. Okay. My first question goes out to you, Olga. Tell me a little bit about what's going on in the Ukraine Festival.
Boston Annual Ukrainian Festival is an amazing event, the biggest event in Massachusetts, Ukrainian event. Last year was the first one, and we had over 3,000 people. This year, I think we're going to have even more because we have so many organizations, politicians, performers, dignitaries, and journalists joining together to celebrate Ukraine, and not only to celebrate, but to bring it to the forefront of to keep Ukraine alive, to keep Ukraine on everybody's minds. Because, the very difficult current events, the war that's going on in Ukraine right now, Russia's aggression is very terrible right now. People are suffering. And so the Ukrainian festival is going to be, of course, celebrating Ukrainian culture and talking about Ukrainian history, but also is going to be educating people about the current situation in Ukraine and raising funds to help Ukrainian children, Ukrainian citizens who were wounded and who are suffering, and of course, helping Ukrainian soldiers.
Beautiful. And Aleksandre, a question goes out to you. I mean, you're only 17 years old. You just won the Ukrainian Kids. I think that's Ukrainian Kids Voice. That is the name of the program.
The Voice of Kids. Ukraine.
The Voice of Kids Ukraine. Yeah. Right. My apologies. You are the winner of that. Tell me, what is your future is like moving on as a young potential expert in the field of music?
I won the Voice Ukraine in 2019. I spent almost a whole year living in Ukraine, which was one of the really the best experiences in my life because people were so welcoming and they took me as their own. And also I became a winner with the Ukrainian People's Votes, which is, really meaningful for me. It means a lot and I appreciate it a lot. And I've been living in the United States for the last 3 years. And I'm currently working on my upcoming album, which will be most likely out in November. I have my single coming out in September. And yeah, I'm just working on my original songs. I'm writing music and creating music.
Learning to fly, learning to run out of my heart beside the wind. When I was young, deep down I must have always known that this would be inevitable. To earn my stripes, I'd have to pay and bear my soul.
Oh, that's really great. And James Montgomery, you are a superstar in every form, an icon. There are much words to really describe the excellence of your work. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? I mean, the whole world probably know by now, but
Yeah, well, yeah, anyway, Alexander, I think you can use some harmonica on that record. So just call me when you want me to come and put it on there. No, just been a touring blues musician since I had a band in college, and we got signed right out of college. So I went right from college to touring with bands like the Allman Brothers and Bruce Springsteen, Aerosmith, Jay Giles, Bonnie Raitt, B.B. King, Steve Miller, everybody. So it's been a great run, and I'm so happy to be associated with Olga and her group. Maybe a week or so into the Russian invasion, I was just so impressed with the way the Ukrainians banded together, the way that they. It was a David and Goliath story. It was like, the big bad Russian army, was on the border and then marching into these Ukrainian towns and just laying waste to people. I was so impressed with the Ukrainians. It's the kind of spirit that founded this country. It's the reason why we have a country is because of the same spirit that the Ukrainians are exhibiting over in Europe right now. And so I wrote a song with Jeff Levine, You Can't Take the Soul of Ukraine, because you could see that no matter what the invading forces were doing, that they couldn't put a dent at all. They couldn't do anything to the soul of those people. And in the face of all odds and in the face of devastation and really war crime cruelty, the Ukrainian people, their spirit was so amazing. It was such an inspiration to me and Jeff that we wrote a song about the soul of those people who are indomitable. So we just think the Ukrainians are the greatest people in the world. So anyway, so we really were moved by the tremendous spirit and will of those people.
I don't want to go off a track right now, but I just spoke to Vasilevich, Olga North pretty well, and I can remember when this war first started, they had more than 250,000 soldiers to start this war. And at this juncture, more than 250,000 soldiers are dead from Russia. And when I look at this, your analysis is good. I mean, it's like David versus Goliath. And it doesn't matter how big the giant is and what ammunition they have, is that when you have God by your side, and I'm saying this because Olga's personality is great, and I found that the more I speak with Ukrainians, it's something unique about these people. They stand as one strength, pleasant personalities, God-fearing people. And when you got God by your side, there's no weapon by the enemies can prosper against the children of God. So I really love that analysis you just made there. All right. But for Olga, I want to ask you a question. A young guy like Andrea, he's in the right environment with the right kind of people. Is there advice you were going to give to him to nourish him moving forward as he pursue his career in music? Because I believe that's probably his intentions.
Well, Aleksandre is one of a kind. He's definitely, I would say, a genius in his field. And his videos when he was performing on The Voice Kids Ukraine were watched by over 30 million people. You can go on YouTube and just Google him. It's incredible the way he sounds. And so we are so happy to have him at the festival performing. So it's a special treat. He will be performing some of his original songs that he's dedicating to Ukraine and some songs in Ukrainian because Aleksandre, he won the Voice Kids of Ukraine, and he's probably one of the only ones, very few people in Ukraine won this program who are non-Ukrainian. He is Georgian, and we are so happy that our brothers in Georgia are standing up for Ukraine, and they have beautiful soul. They're like our thank you so much to you personally, Aleksandre, and to your people. And so you will be able to hear him live at the Boston Annual Ukrainian Festival on August 26th at Boston University. So please come. And I'm not sure I can give him much advice because he is doing incredibly well. He has a lot of people helping him already, including Cheryl Porter, a great vocal coach that kind of took him up under his wing. She's a huge YouTube vocal coach sensation with millions of subscribers. And we're hoping that she will join us perhaps next year for the festival.
Beautiful. And Aleksandre, what are your plans moving forward in the future with your music? Any specific goals in mind?
I usually, just plan things that just in my mind, and I don't like to talk about them before they're released. But what I can tell you is that, again, I'm working on my album, and I'm so looking forward to it because I have a concert coming up on November 5th in New York. I had a tour in a couple of states. It was called A Boy with Dream, and it's going to be the last tour date of that tour, and opening of a new one that's going to be dedicated to my very first debut album. So yeah, that's the plan.
Beautiful. Your intellect show diplomatic standards already. Montgomery, I want to ask you this question because you are seasoned in blues, and blues, that form of music had and created its name on history page for a long, long time. Could you tell us a little bit more about blues and how it educates?
It's a great question, and as a matter of fact, blues was really the music of empowerment for the African Americans who were, enslaved on these plantations. I mean, even though the Emancipation Proclamation had happened, there really wasn't much difference in the way that the African American was treated and what was required of them in the Deep South. So it's similar in a way, and I just thought of this, the same spirit that we see in Ukraine eventually happened on the plantations, and it started with the blues musicians who said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to work on this plantation. I'm going to take my guitar, and they called it making an independent move. And so they were the first ones in the South. In the North, there was a different trajectory, for people like Frederick Douglass and those type of people. But in the Deep South, the Jim Crow and the segregation, I mean, they were lynching people every day. And so it was the blues musicians who broke away from that and started radio shows. And I talked to Rufus Thomas, one of the great rhythm and blues singers who ever lived. And he told me, he said, when we heard our music being played in the cotton fields on the radio, he said they were playing our music on the radio, and then they started advertising products to us and not the guy at the top of the hill and the mansion. He said, when we heard our music and when we heard that they were advertising to us, he said, you don't believe how that lifted our spirits and showed us that there was a road to get out of here. So blues music is really the music of empowerment. And, I had a radio show for years, and every blues musician that I know has a moment when they heard blues for the first time. They have this moment that strikes a deep chord in them, and they go, wow, that's what I want to do. I want to play that music. And it's a very similar. The spirit of the blues is very similar to the spirit of the Ukrainians.
Beautiful. And Olga, you have the annual Ukrainian festival coming up shortly, and I think you have a little bit of footage on that. Could you pull it
I
up?
I do. And thank you so much, James. I would love to come back to him and ask about the song, The Soul of Ukraine, after this PSA that I'm going to play for you, because that's very symbolic what you just said. We really need to talk more about this beautiful song. And the PSA is coming your way.
Join us at the Boston Annual Ukrainian Festival on the grounds of Boston University.
On August 26, come to celebrate Ukrainian strength, learn about Ukrainian heritage and culture, enjoy arts and crafts, and taste delicious ethnic food. Join us with your friends and family to participate in cultural activities.
Live performances all day long from 2 to 9 p.m., including Ukraine's big stars. Ласкаво просимо. Welcome to the Boston Ukrainian Festival.
And there we are.
Beautiful.
Well, I haven't had breakfast yet. That food looked really good.
Yeah. The Ukrainian food is going to be served there, so please do come and taste it. It's going to be delicious, and we're going to have so many wonderful performers. You saw on the PSA that Alyosha, the Eurovision star, the finalist representing Ukraine, and this year's special guest, she performed Ordinary World with a gorgeous production. So Alyosha is going to be there, and Aleksandre Zazarashvili and James Montgomery with his song, The Soul of Ukraine, and the dance ensemble Unist, which is one of the best Ukrainian dance ensembles in the United States. And lots of organizations are taking part, such as Harvard Ukrainian Research Institute and Boston University, and famous Ukrainian journalist Maria Romanenko, who is going to be talking about her horrible story of fleeing Ukraine when the invasion started. And she documented it and was on some of the biggest news, BBC, and many other channels, and she will be there to share, and we'll have a panel discussion for people who are interested in learning more about what Ukraine's history is all about. Where do we find this strength that we have been talking about here on this program?
Well, you asked a beautiful question there, because I was about to ask that same question. How, in the middle of a war, and a very serious war going on in Ukraine by Russia, a superpower, and yet still the Ukrainians right here in Boston still have this positive strength, and it's propelling them into excellence every single day. How do you balance out the negative effects of the war, because you still have families there and still live positively here and get things done, even at a better level than when it wasn't a war? How you do that?
Thank you, Errol. That's a wonderful question. We do have a very strong Ukrainian community here in Boston, and in the United States, the Ukrainian diaspora is very strong, and they're united more than ever after the invasion began. We are all together supporting Ukraine, every single person from the Ukrainian community, and our friends from all the different communities are coming together to help as much as we can, sending humanitarian aid, like Sky Philanthropy was founded last year, even though we've been supporting Ukraine since 2014 when Russians grabbed Crimea. But we did not organize like an official organization until last year, and we shipped over 60,000 pounds of medical supplies. We just got a cargo truck from Sweden that was driven by congressmen from Sweden to Ukraine, to Kyiv. And your friend Vasil Shevchenko, who has been on your show several times, he was able to document it. And we've done so much, and I'm very proud to be Ukrainian. I think Ukrainians are a very special nation because we love our land. We love our culture. We love our music. We're actually, according to UNESCO, we have the biggest collection of folk songs. UNESCO has the biggest collection of folk songs in their archives, and their Ukrainian folk songs. So that is pretty amazing that a nation that is large, but not as large as Russia, of course, or United States, or any other, or some other countries, we do have the largest collection of songs. So I do believe that music plays a big part in our strength, and of course our history, Cossacks, and you will learn about history at the festival. Harvard Ukrainian Research Institute is preparing a wonderful presentation, so all your questions will be answered there. But we do believe in the victory, and we know that Ukraine will be victorious, and Slava Ukraini.
Yeah, I think it's important too to point out that this has been going on for a while, and you can't lose interest in what's going on over there, especially now. That the Ukrainians have proven to be quite a challenging fighting force, and it's like there's a possible end in sight now for the Ukrainians to prevail. So it's more important than ever, really, to make sure that all this aid and all this, all the goodwill and all the supplies and ammunition and things that we've sent there, or have been sent there by countries throughout the world, because Ukraine is supported by many, many countries. And it's important, to keep your foot on the gas, if you will. It's important to not let this slip off of our radar. It's important to keep keep letting the Ukrainians know that we support them in their effort.
Beautiful. Aleksandre, I want to ask you a question as a young man growing up. Beside music, do you see yourself getting engaged in the future in any governmental positions in your country, considering what your nation would have experienced over the past year? Is there any part of you that think you should invest some form of governmental support as you come of age?
Well, as for now, I don't think so. Most definitely not. I would never want to get, engaged in that. But I think I could still be able to support my country with my music, and that is my plan, to support my country and also Ukraine with my music. So I don't think I need to be in a governmental connections to support my country. But what I want to add is I want to say thanks to Olga for inviting me to this festival, because it is really important, and I'm so thankful and grateful to be a part of something so impactful. And just thank you so much for inviting me. And yeah, thank you.
It's an honor and pleasure to have both you and James at the festival. And Errol, I hope you Errol, I hope you and your viewers will be coming to the festival as well, and perhaps join the chorus. We are going to be putting together a community chorus to sing two things: Ukrainian anthem, and we do have all the materials, the diction and how to pronounce and everything, the video, and the chorus in the soul of Ukraine. And James, why don't you say a few more words about this wonderful song?
Well, here again, we were so inspired, and by the way, I'm glad you're going to have some kind of pamphlet that has the correct pronunciations on it, because I don't know if I could learn Ukrainian in 1 hour. But anyway, so we had this idea. We came up with a great melody, I think, and a tremendous, we are strong, we are brave. It's our country we must save, and our fight won't be in vain. You can't take the soul of Ukraine. I mean, that's the basic theme of the song. And thanks to Olga and some other people, we were able to get the Ukrainian choir that sang on Saturday Night Live, the Donbass choir, and we were able to send the tracks over to Kyiv. Actually, we sent the tracks over to Ukraine, and the name of the chorus over there, whose name Olga's going to pronounce right now.
Krishchatik. It was wonderful chorus that recorded. We were on Zoom watching and kind of supervising the recording session. It was incredible. So we have the whole world is coming together on this song, and the song will finish the official part of the Ukrainian festival. And we do want to encourage everybody to write to us. So go to skyphilanthropy.org. All of the information is there. Please write to us and volunteer for the chorus. You don't have to speak Ukrainian. The Soul of Ukraine is in English, so that's going to be easy. And we will teach you everything you need to know. And all you need to have is a voice and a heart for Ukraine.
Beautiful. Well, we're down on the last 2 minutes. And if there's anything you would like to say before we wrap up this show, please feel free to do so.
Yeah,
Aleksandre,
again, I'd like to say that, when we started looking around for Ukrainians to get involved in the song, it was amazing, how the willingness of these great people to get involved and to help us, complete our song. And it's been just amazing to work in concert with the Ukrainian singers. And by the way, Olga, it should be pointed out, is an amazing singer. And I look forward to hearing her sing, and I look forward to Aleksandre hearing you sing. I'm just thrilled. And like I say, be prepared to see some really great singing coming in from Olga there. So we're really excited about that.
Okay.
Thank you. Sure. We will have great talent and great musicians, great organizations, and please come and volunteer. We need volunteers. We love to have you all as audience at the festival and partners. So please reach out to me at skyphilanthropy.org, and I see you at the festival.
Well, until then, for all those who have been tuning in or living in the 21st century, have a nice day.